Hey guys, in this training video, you are going to learn what is it that you need to become a web developer, and more importantly, what kind of web developer do you want to be? There are two different kinds. The one is the front end side, another one is called back end side, and we are going to be going through each one of those to find out what things you need to know and what languages you need to know and which one is better for you. And then also there's a third kind, which is called full stack. What that person knows is it knows the back end side and the front end side. So let's look at it. So let's say we have this website that you want to create. So let's look at the back end side first. So by the way, I'm using this website that is called bubbl.us. This is a great brainstorming exercise. It will allow you to create different bubbles that you can kind of get your thoughts together or whatnot, or get your projects and all that good stuff. So if you want to give that a shot, give it a whirl. It is called bubbl.us. So if I open this up, as you can see, it creates like a new little bubble. I think it's pretty cool. So we have a main website, and then we got the front end side and the back end side. So let's look at the back end side. So if I bring this up here and then open this up, and on the back end side, you have two things. One is your database, where you're going to store your stuff, and another one is your server, where you're going to run your stuff. And if you open this up, and nowadays, before Node.js came up, only option that we had was just Apache, and that's that. So if you open up the Apache part, and in here, you can learn. There are a few different languages, but one of them being the most common one, which is around for like God knows how long. And I have used it for like over 8 years now or more. And it's called PHP. It is very well known and is very well written and is stable. And there's a lot of support around the community, and a lot of people still use it to this day. So that's one of the languages you can learn. And another one is called Python. It's all right. And then Go by Google and Perl. But most people are familiar with PHP. So if you want to go this route on your backend side, I would suggest you learn PHP first. And then once you have learned and mastered that, go along with the other one. But now that Node.js is gaining a lot of familiarity and a lot of good things being talked about within the community, now we can use Node.js as well. And from my personal experience, I have used Node.js, and I have learned that comparing with PHP, Node.js is at least 3 to 4 times faster in terms of executing the code and saving and everything else. So that's my thoughts on that. Node.js is definitely faster. If you want something fast respond, bang, 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 knock it out, you could do that with Node.js. If you want something a little more stable, and then on all the good stuff, and I will tell you this, Node.js is good and it's fast and everything else. However, being that is all around JavaScript, it has its advantages and disadvantages. Advantages is that it's around JavaScript, so which means it goes line by line by line by line, and that's that, which is good and bad. Good because it goes line by line. Bad because if, let's say in line 1, you want certain process to finish before you go to line 3, JavaScript is not going to care. It's going to go to line 1. Whether or not line 1 process is finished, it's going to go to line 2, line 3, so forth, so forth. So that's its disadvantages, in my opinion. And then as far as PHP, it will finish the process on line 1. When it's done, then it's going to go to line 2. And if there's any processes in there, then it'll finish that, so on and so forth. So that's it, has its advantages, disadvantages. So let's move on. So I'm going to close this out on the server side. And then on the database side, there are several different options available for you now. You can store it in a traditional MySQL server, which is my personal favorite because I'm from a relationship database, far as queries and all that good stuff. That works for me. But if you are not familiar with that, or you're just getting started, you want to go with the more, what they call it is the document database, where you store objects and stuff like that, you can go with MongoDB. That's another one. And then in the behind scenes, the backend side, that's all it is. You got your server, you write this language, you get the data from the database, and you spit it back to your website. And then now let's look at the front end side of things. So on the front end side, you have a few more options. You have your regular HTML, which your clients or your visitors will see, like for example, your body tags, H1 tags, and stuff like that. And your CSS is right here along with it. So these two are required no matter what. So if, in my opinion, I think Bootstrap is the way to go in terms of your CSS, because it has a lot of different functionality and it makes your life a whole lot easier. And also it makes your website or website projects responsive, which is a lot easier with Bootstrap framework as compared to any other one out there. There are few of them out there, but this is probably the most one that a lot of people are using within the community. And I personally like it. I think it makes your job a lot easier. But if you choose to go with other frameworks, that's your all means. But that's that. So you got your CSS, you got your HTML. And then we have your JavaScript on the front end side. And then we have a local storage, just like your database on the back end side. You can use databases on the front end side as well. So let's look at the databases first. So we have your long-term database and we have your short-term database. So let's look at the short-term one first. So short-term one is your cookies, where you can store like a different stuff like text like your users login information and stuff like that. And then this, which most people don't realize it or have been using it, is called ALASQL. This thing is by far the most powerful library I have used to this date. This thing is incredible. I cannot emphasize enough. This thing is incredible. And what makes it so incredible is the fact that you can use it just like your MySQL table and databases. You can create a table, and then within the table, when you get a array of data from your AJAX call or whatever, and you can dump that data in there in this ALSQL table. And then this is what makes it powerful. Let's say you have file one. Let's say file one, call it project file one, and then we have project file two. There are two different files. In project file one, you can dump that data in your AJAX call. And then later on, if your page does not refresh, you can use the data that you save in project one file in project two file. How incredible is that? However, the downside is if your page refreshes, you're going to lose the data, but which is all right. So that's why I put this under short-term storage. And for your long-term storage, you have your local storage, which is just like your object-oriented thing. But if you use the Awesome Function library, which you can go from awesomefunctions.com, and then that way you can use it just like your MySQL. You can store data as in one array or two arrays or multiple, and you can call back data and stuff like that. And then IndexedDB, that is also something similar to your local storage, but in here you can store more stuff. In the local storage one, you can only store up to 5 meg from what I understand. But the IndexedDB, its limitation is a lot higher. So that's your storage stuff. So let me close that out. So let's go to our JavaScript side now. JavaScript side, basically what this does is it just allows you to, in my opinion, to data mine. That's all it is. That's the sole purpose of the JavaScript, is to data mine. So let's say if you have a page, and within the page you have 4 fields, which would be your username, email, and password, and button or something like that. And within the JavaScript part, you can control any one of those or all of them and manipulate the data within it. Whether you are getting data from it or you're putting a data in it. So let's look at that. What are the options in here? And once again, guys, these are my personal favorite ones. There are a lot other out there, but I think if you get familiar with these, you'll be a good point where you'll be like, okay, I know what I'm doing. jQuery by far the most popular one out there. In my opinion, once again, is better than any other library out there. Whether it's I know most of you guys are like, oh my god, I can't believe you said that, but it is true. It's better than React, Angular, anything like that. It will allow you to manipulate any of the data within the DOM, within your document, within your page, fairly easy without anything. And then not to mention the fact that it's been around for over, get ready for this, over 10 years. And it has a very good, strong community. Anything you need help with, you can easily find it. That's for your manipulation of the data within the HTML. But if you want to manipulate data in terms of your arrays and objects and strings like that, Load Dash is probably by far the greatest library that I have personally used it. And also it's similar to underscore, but you can use underscore or Load Dash one. I personally prefer this one because it has a lot of different functions you can use to manipulate data and get whatever you want fairly quickly. And then Bootstrap, another JavaScript library, which if you're using the Bootstrap framework, you can use like different events, like one of those customized tool tips, and then different alerts and stuff like that. And then of course, last but not least, the awesome function libraries, which will allow you to piggyback on the jQuery and the Bootstrap, and it will allow you to do all kinds of crazy stuff. So that's that. So now the question remains is that, let me just do all this good thing in here. So the question remains is, what kind of developer do you want to be? Do you want to be the front-end side developer or a back-end side developer? Well, that's up to you. What do you feel is more important? Stuff that you want to store data with and you want to play around with that? Or do you feel like creating stuff like different boxes or look and feel that's more important to you? In my opinion, I think if you are going to become a developer, the front end side developer make a lot more money than your back end side. Not saying one or the other is better or worse or whatever, but based on the market, the front-end side developer are more in demand and they make a lot more money than the back-end side. However, if you're full stack, the front and the back, you're going to be making a lot more money than just the one person who knows just the front-end side. Obviously, no, duh, right? But so that's just in a nutshell what a developer's day in life is, so to speak, or what kind of developers they are. Hopefully this will help you determine what kind of developer you want to use, and then hopefully give you an insight of what are the technologies you should use or focus on. If you can focus on the technologies I just talked about, I think you should be in good shape. As always, like, comment, just subscribe, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me either to my channel here, message me, or contact me through my website. Until next time, I'll talk to you later, guys.